welcome back to the End in Mind podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin, and I'm super excited to introduce you all to Brittni. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. Well, can you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do? Give us like your background.
Absolutely. So, I am a life and business coach and I'm in the transformation space. So, I help people really get clear on like, what is that thing that's on your heart? Because I always say, like, that thing that's on your heart, it's here for a reason. So, I help people really step into a place in life where they can bring that to life. And I help people get to the root of the things that keep them playing small, keep them kind of stuck or not seeing the results they want. Because by going to the root, we can turn that into like a stepping stone on the way to where they want to go. So it's really about bringing authenticity and alignment and just a nourishing way of creating our dreams and our visions and our goals. But like I said, it's really like that special thing, that nudge, that inkling that's been on your heart, whether it's the nonprofit, the business, the family dynamic, like that thing that feels so special in life to you. Let's bring it into the world in a way that feels so good, so aligned, so nourishing from the inside out.
Oh, what you do is so special and so needed in today's society. Like so many of us just conform, to like whatever we think we should be doing. Or like I went to college and then I thought I would have an agency job and now I'm like running an agency. But before that, I was like, how am I going to do this? And I'd love to know what some of those like specific blockages that your clients hit. Do they get stuck in the rat race, or like, what are their biggest fears? Is it financial?
There's kind of a full spectrum, but actually, just this morning, I had a client call that is a perfect example of this. So, she's in the coaching space and she has just been toying with the idea of like, I should be a coach. I should call myself a coach, but I don't really want it. And she's like, I don't know. I don't, they're just very much in this I don't know energy. And when we really like dove in, it was because she actually did know what she wanted. There's a part of her that wanted to lean into corporate collaborations and bring her coaching into other companies, but she didn't think that that was possible. She thought she had to choose either I'm a coach or I can be in this corporate collaboration space. And what we did was by getting to the root of these, like these parts, this little bit parts work and like getting clear on like what does she value? What does she want to bring? What is the fear? The fear was in the unknown of like, I won't be able to find this job. I won't be able to find a place for me in this work. And by just getting really just looking at that fear with a new lens and really just getting big picture, she was able to see, oh, I've been trying to fit myself into a this or that box when really it's just about getting creative in the solution creation. Like we get to play in the realm of possibilities. There's no such thing as a this or that. Instead, I help people look at life in this yes and energy. Because a lot of the times people don't realize it's, the subconscious is holding us back or our experiences from our parents or from past workspaces. Like those are all getting projected onto our goals and dreams. And that's not bad. And it doesn't have to hold us back anymore.
Oh, it's so good. I was just having this conversation before we hopped on. I was speaking with someone that I met like years ago, like back in 2023. And we were talking about the lens that we all come with, like when we first start our businesses and how loud it can be online, all the shoulds, you have to niche down and you have to pick a certain lane and like you can't get out of that lane. And it can feel so constrictive that I remember asking myself, like, why did I leave my job? Like, I left my full time job because I absolutely hated it. And I hated being in an office and I hated feeling constricted. And then I basically just created my own jail cell, like with my own company, because I'm like, this is what I thought you had to do to be successful. Do you help your clients in that lens as well? Like if they have kind of created this like white knuckle strategy, right, of like a business, are you able to help coach them out of that too?
Absolutely. Because exactly what you're saying is so normal. There are countless ways to do everything. And with how loud the online space is, anytime you go looking on social media, when you go look at other people's programs, we're just constantly absorbing what everyone else is doing. And I really help people take the should out of life. Like there are no shoulds. It's just what feels aligned to you, what feels exciting to you. So I have like some clients will come and they are trying to build on social media, even though they hate it and they don't know their messaging and they don't even want to be in that space. And it's one thing if you want to be in that space, and then we can help you learn the tools and strategy around it. But if it's not an aligned marketing tool, why are you spending your energy there? So it's like getting clear on where do you want to pour into? What feels exciting? Where are you getting not only just a tangible ROI in your life and business, but an energetic ROI? Because at the end of the day, like I said, there's countless ways to do everything. And so when we let go of all of the ways that everyone else is doing and stop comparing ourselves outwardly and just looking within and just saying, like, where is my North Star? Why do I want what I want? How do I want to operate? Why do I want how I want to operate? Then we're really getting clear on like the value system underneath it all. And then you build a strategy from that place of pure alignment so that then you're not leading yourself to burnout. You're not leading yourself to resent your business or anything like that. But instead, it's just like this energetic overflow that is an extension of you as a business owner. And I just want to reiterate like, there is no one right way to do life. Every single person gets to live life on their terms. And it's up to us to A, decide what those terms are and really get clear on like, what are the specific terms I want to live my life by? And then B, taking that courageous action to become the person where you're not being influenced by what everyone else is doing, but instead you're just in that embodiment that this is your life. You're here to live it for you, through you, everything like that.
So empowering, like to not have to be constantly in comparison. And I love what you mentioned about social media because I also consult business owners at times, but more from a marketing lens, like nothing, in the robust way of work that you do, which is perfect because hopefully we could be referral partners for our listeners. This is how you network. Okay. But also, like, when you brought up social media, I think that that's one of the biggest pressures that business owners feel when they first launch their business. And really, that strategy can come so much later and can be like entirely outsourced, down the line. And if it isn't intuitive and if it doesn't connect to us, most of the time people feel that anyway. And it like totally backfires, which I'm sure is what you see here happen to some of your clients, then they're burnt out. Then they're like, but I'm trying. And it's like not the right avenue, probably, that they should be marketing. And there's so many other ways, like you said, to market or live your life. But I really love this. I want to stick with this topic that you said. No, not one right way to do life. That's going to be today's episode title, too. But no, not one right way to do life is one of the most empowering statements that I've ever heard. Even as I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, all of those areas of my life that I haven't been pouring into, I really want to start, like literally after this conversation. Do you have calls with clients that are like, wow, when I was little, I aspired to be this, but I kept shutting it down? What are some of those examples if you're able to share with us?
Yeah, let me just share that almost every single person that I've worked with comes from the space of I thought XYZ had to be true. And I help people like really get into their own truth around it. Because when we're growing up, so a lot of my work is in the subconscious space, and the subconscious is primarily developed by the age of 7. So, growing up, we're absorbing everything that we're seeing from our parents, our caregivers, from what we see in life. And without the fuller context of a developed mind, we are creating meaning. So, we're trying to put these puzzle pieces together without having all the pieces. And then as adults, we're living out of those outdated operating systems. And so, and I like, I'll share my own, like my own self as an example first. Like, I was extremely career oriented since I was little. I had all the different things that I wanted to be. And as I got older, I started just taking on more and more of what everyone else said, like reflected back to me. Oh, like you're too positive to do this. You should do this. So for like more tangibility, like back in my pre-college era, I wanted to go into criminology and forensics, and everyone told me I should be a teacher. And so like two completely different spaces. And it was a perfect, and at the end of the day, neither of those career paths are what I want. Like I love coaching and entrepreneurship. So it all just thrown out there, like all paths will lead to the same place. Like, they're all windy, but we all get where we're meant to be at the end of the day. But just using this as an example, I knew in my heart what I wanted to pursue, but I ended up taking on so much of other people's feedback and opinions that when I went to college, I was pursuing being a teacher.
Yeah.
And when I finally took the reins back on that and said, okay, I actually don't want to be a teacher. Why am I building this life that's not something that I want to do? It was the most empowering thing. Um, I've had like there was one woman that came to me where she was trying to like build up her own business in a way that her like she's in a business group and they were just everyone was like following the same cut and dry strategy. And when we were working together, I was like, why? Like, what is holding you back from building this in a way that feels so exciting to you, from doing it differently, from bringing your unique spin to it? And what she found was that there was this projection happening from when she was younger. She had wanted to like be a dancer and like really like pursue dancing, and her dad was like, that's not a career, that's not sustainable, like this is a hobby, like you need to actually focus, you need to get serious. And what she had made that mean was that it's impractical to go after what I truly want. It's not sustainable, it's not safe to follow my heart and my true passions. And so she had this lens of trying to protect herself and protect her business, but it wasn't actually serving her. So I just want to say, like, every single person has opinions on like the best way to do things. And when we can just let go of that, whether it's other people's opinions or even our own, and just lean into aligned action with an openness and a trusting that the people that are meant to be in your space will be there, that the people are meant to hear your message will hear it. It's like we lean into this openness and you just play with life. It's like a dance with life where you're in action and you're following your truth and your alignment, trusting that the other pieces are coming to meet you at the same time.
It just sounds so much more fun, than trying to like conform or fit into that box or do it all perfectly. Like a lot of us in this community are highly sensitive. So we have been up until this point extremely malleable, unfortunately, because so many people have this idea of who we should be. And then it's so hard to be like, well, what if I don't want to do that? And then they get really upset and then we feel bad. And it's like this whole dynamic that a lot of other people in this world don't have. They may not have that type of like empathy with the sensitivity. So this just sounds so fun. Like, I love the way that you're talking about life and that we really are in like full control, but we've just had this veil or facade, put in front of us to make us think that we aren't in control. Like, I've been on this path to try something. And now, after this conversation, I'm like, this was divine speaking to me. So, thank you so much for sharing.
I love that. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. But it's true. And it's like my whole maybe like subliminal messaging is that we get to fall in love with life. And what I want to
Yeah.
emphasize is that it's not like bypassing or falling in love with the highlight reel, but it's about falling in love with the realness, the rawness, the actual truth of what life is, the highs and the lows, just how multifaceted we are. And for all the entrepreneurs and business owners like listening, there's very few things that will make you discover yourself on deep innate levels than running and growing a business. Like everything's a mirror for us. And it's just about coming back into our power. And like I said, it's, life is already so serious and so messy and so challenging as it is. So why do we want to add to that? It's like instead, what if we come
Yeah.
back into our power, into like we're not trying to control others or life itself, but like what is in your control? How can you step into your ownership and your leadership in your life even more? And from that space, that's how we make a difference. That's how we create an impact. That's how we can grow and expand our businesses or whatever space we're pouring into. And it's from that empowered space where we're just in ownership of who we are and all that we are. And it just ripples out from there.
So cool. It's like the rhetoric that you're using is so magnetic, to like, especially I feel like someone like myself and our listeners, it's not just one thing. Like, I believe the exact thing of what you're saying that I feel like I came here to experience being an entrepreneur, like this was literally like written on my soul. And then every person that I meet, I know that they could potentially change my life and like vice versa, whether it's like happening lifetime or down the line. Do you have a lot of clients talk about that too? Like the more work that they've done and the people that they start to engage with after working with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a theme that I bring in all the time of we never know the seeds we're planting. So a lot of times, especially with like newer entrepreneurs or new business owners or people that are in the service space who are just starting to get their first couple clients, but even up to those who are trying new different strategies or who are just trying to take their business and life to that next level, like we never know the seeds we're planting. And there's some seeds that we plant that you just water a few times and you'll start to see the sprouts and the payoff of it. But then there's other plants where you can water it for years and barely see anything. Like there's like the analogy with the bamboo tree, for example, which is like the first couple of years of watering it, there's just very, very, very little growth. And then after a couple of years of that consistency, it skyrockets and there's massive amount of growth practically overnight. And it's like this idea that both in our own lives and the results we're creating, but also just in the people we're meeting, the connections we're making, they're like when you have this openness to what else can life be, what else is out there, what else can be true, then it's like you never know when someone that you meet is going to become your best friend or a business partner or a romantic partner. You never know when the client that says no today to your offers is going to email you in 3 years saying, I have not stopped thinking about that session. Like, tell me what you've got going on. We never know the seeds we plant. It is, and again, this comes back to like what's in our control, what's not. We can't control what the seed is. We can't control how fast it's going to grow. We can't control when we'll see the results. What we can control is that nourishing it, the watering of it, the pouring energy into it, choosing to speak kindly versus critically, the choices that we make to show up in action versus ignoring it and hoping it survives our neglect. Just, yeah, it's all I would say it like mindset is a huge thing. It's not everything, but just shifting into the embodiment and the openness cultivates a natural mindset so that when you're meeting people or when you're in connection, it's just you never know how it's going to play out. And that's the most exciting thing. It kind of takes that fear of the unknown and pivots it into, oh, we're in the unknown. Who knows what can happen? Who knows what can happen from here?
Yeah, like the expansiveness of it instead of the lack. It's wonderful. A lot of what I think business owners may be thinking right now, and maybe even bringing to your attention, I would love to know if they talk to you a lot about one, finances, but also two, like, I could see some of my clients saying, well, that's great, but how do I get paid? Right. Like a lot of them are living in the 3D and sometimes stuck in some of that. So I'd love to know your perspective there. And then, really briefly, which I'll remember to come back to that, I love what you shared upon compassion over being like reactive with rhetoric, because this has changed my business massively in the past 4 years, particularly. And a lot of clients, like I shared this recently with a friend of mine. I had a client that I took on, and he had someone else that he was working with that I also took on as a client. And I'm laughing because it was my fault as the practitioner and like the service provider, right? To say, hey, like if you aren't familiar with online marketing, a lot of the results are intangible, right? Like I can show you the awareness that we're bringing to the table, but you may not see a direct ROI. This is more about like awareness, especially for this type of product that we were promoting. It was very ambiguous, it was not super straightforward. And this person became very upset with the service. And I'm sharing this for the listeners. Like, if you ever feel this way as a service provider, practitioner, selling a product, like when a client's upset, it literally feels like your world is ending. Like, I remember feeling like there was like a black hole in my heart. Like I really hurt this person and I didn't know how to fix it. He was asking for money. I didn't have it. So I just kept apologizing and hoping and showing, right, the awareness that I was able to create. Flash forward to now, I thought that that would ruin this relationship with my other client that I was connected with through him. And that now client is coming back, rehiring us, and like no one's concerned at all, right? And I totally could have like put my foot in my mouth, told the client about the situation, or like really, story told my way out of the deal. And I think a lot of highly sensitives, when we feel guilt, we do that indirectly. So for any of the listeners, like really take that away, take that to heart. The more compassion that you lean into, the tenfold, will come out of some of these business situations. So I'd love to know your opinion on the finances and then also, that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'll say we'll start with the story and then I'll go back to finances because what's coming through to me is this like one thing that I help people really integrate into their daily life is the question of can I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is true? So like that's such a perfect example. And I think every single entrepreneur and business owner is going to face that at some time. Like there's going to be a point where someone doesn't agree with our positioning or messaging. They're not going to like our services. They're not going to be happy with the results and blame us for it. Like that's so like that it's not a question of like if, it's just a question of when if you're in the business owning space. And
Yeah,
but I think this was just such a perfect example of how when we slow it down and like like projections are all around us and it's like okay this person like I'm going to lose this other relationship because of it, it's going to impact everything else. And it's like before something happens, when you slow it down, can you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's true? Could you prove it in a
right.
court of law that it's true? Like, where outside of the mind is the evidence? And then when we can see, like, oh, actually, I don't know for sure that this is true. I don't know for sure that this will happen. It's like, okay, well, what else can be true? We can start opening up to the other side. And it's not about predicting what will actually happen because, like, the reality is maybe it will. Maybe you will lose that relationship. Maybe it will impact the bottom line. Like, that's always a possibility. But it's leaning into this. But there's so many other ways it could play out. There's so many other truths that could be here. And then you allow yourself to be in this more spacious living. You create spaciousness and expand your capacity, knowing that if something happens, if the worst case scenario plays out, like you lean into that trust, like I can hold for it, I can handle it, I can navigate anything that happens, but I'm not expecting it. I'm not assuming it because anything else could happen as well. And then you're just open to that realm of possibility. Yeah.
It's so good because I love like how you mentioned the timeline too. Like people just come back. They come back all the time. Like that situation happened literally in 2020. And now they're finally ready to launch the product. It's been 5 years, people. So it's like you just never know.
Yeah.
So good.
And we never know like what they need for their own evolution. Like they might have needed
Yes.
that time to become who they are now. They needed that experience to become who they are so that they can take whatever's next for them so they can step into whatever their future chapters are. And it's, like we take accountability, we take ownership for what is ours, but only what's ours. And then we allow life and others to have their own process and their own journey as well.
Beautiful. So good.
So good. And then money mindset is so exciting because money is just so tied into our security, our sense of safety, our identity. Like it's woven into our nervous system practically. And
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, my belief is that money is energy and we still do live in the 3D world. So it's like, how can we bridge it? Sometimes it's literally just like a strategic lens of like, oh, like I was talking with someone yesterday and she was like deciding between like, do I charge in Canadian dollars versus USD dollars? And a simple shift increased her profit margin without changing the price for any of the customers, but it just created a different pricing model for her. And that was the only thing. It was a very strategic twist. Versus
Yeah.
sometimes we are projecting our fears and beliefs around what money is onto our businesses and our lives. So, for example, if growing up, your parents told you, like, money doesn't grow on trees, you have to work hard to make money, and you heard that all throughout your childhood, you have a subconscious belief that A, I have to work hard to make money, and B,
Yeah.
money's hard to find. So let's take the first one. Let's say you have that belief like it takes hard work to make money. I have to work hard to make money. But you're also trying to create a business where you're only working 3 days a week so that you can be a stay at home parent and be really present with your kids. Those two things are going to compete. If you believe I have to work really hard to make more money, and you're trying to build a lifestyle and a business where you get to have spaciousness and extra capacity in your business, the subconscious is going to be like, oh, well, if I make more money, that means there's more hard work happening. Therefore, I'm not going to make money because I don't want to work hard right now. And it's like when we slow it really down, like slow it way down and get clear on what are these subconscious beliefs? Where are these self imposed limitations getting projected onto our life, either in a very tangible or in an energetic way? Then you can start breaking down, be like, okay, is it true? Like, do I have to work hard to make more money? Yes, just a simple yes or no. And for anyone that says yes immediately, like let's slow it down. Again, outside of the mind, where is your evidence? Because I guarantee you,
Yeah.
any person right now can think of someone who is making twice what they're making, doing half of the work. We have
Yeah.
so many examples. Look at it, in any industry, in any space, like you will be able to find someone who is a counter example to that limiting belief. And so if it's
Yeah.
true for them, why can't it be true for you too? And this is how I help people just, it's kind of similar to our beliefs like around business, but that money mindset and really getting into how the subconscious is taking the idea of money and projecting it across the business, across strategy, just across what's possible. First, we just bring that awareness to it, like get really clear on what are those limiting beliefs. Where is the subconscious trying to protect you by sabotaging? And I'd say that very specifically. Like I have, coming back to that compassionate conversation, my coaching is through a compassionate self-acceptance lens. There's, if every single block, any way that we self-sabotage, any way that we hold ourselves back, there's a reason we're doing it. There's a reason you're not making those outreach calls. There's a reason you're inconsistent with your social media marketing. There's a reason you're not going to the gym every day when you tell yourself you're going to. And that reason's not bad. It's somewhere in the subconscious. It's trying to protect you, trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you from getting rejected. Like there's different, deeper layers. But anyways, circling back, it's getting clear with a compassionate lens on how that limiting belief is trying to serve us. And then from there, we pivot it. We recreate it with that compassionate lens into what else can be true? What am I choosing to be true about this? And then we build from there.
It's so good. Like, this is the way I believe all coaching should be, to be honest with you. I've had so many clients over the years. They're like, just tell me what to do, just give me the strategy. And what you just described is the only way I believe that true success can be achieved. That's what I see, in this space every day. It's like the people that do the work, lead with compassion, see themselves. This is how you all as the listeners can really overcome and become the person that you want, to become. So thank you so much, Brittni. Can you tell everyone how to get in touch with you, what you've got going on in this new year, and what we can expect to see from you?
Absolutely. Okay, so you can come say hi to me over on Instagram. It's Brittni.Cosgrove. And I'll share Brittni is a little different. It's Brittni.Cosgrove. And then something I want to offer to any listeners who are in this space where you're like, okay, I am ready for what's next. Whether it's you're just birthing your idea or you're ready to take it to that next level, or you just want clarity on, okay, I think I want this, but I'm not sure. I have something that I offer throughout the week called the transformation table. And this is a time where you can hop on a call with up to 4 people at once, where you're just here to get support on your dreams and how to bring it to life, how to take that next step. It's laser coaching, it's fun, it's collaborative, and it's just a safe space for you to be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to follow that calling. I'm ready to follow that nudge. It's really powerful. So I just want to invite everyone to pull up a seat at the transformation table. You can find that on my website, brittnicosgrove.com. And then this year, I just have some really exciting, I'm leaning more into community and group spaces. So I have my signature group program called Eudaimonia Embodied. Eudaimonia is an ancient Greek philosophy around kind of finding deep fulfillment by nourishing each area of life. And it brings together women who are just ready to fully embody who they're meant to be, who they're ready to be, so that they are truly bringing that passion that's on their heart into this world. Like, the world needs your medicine. The world needs you to follow what's on your heart, follow your calling. So this is a space where women are coming together to step forward, seeing each other and then being inspired by each other to take those steps for themselves. And then I'm just going to plant the seed that 2026 is the space or the year of like bringing in retreats and bringing together women in a really sacred week-long container where it is just transformational with a capital T. So I'm not going to say more, but I'm just knowing that that is coming in 2026.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And for all of our listeners, we'll have all of your links in the show notes below. Also, I love eudaimonia. My business is actually Meraki, which is also an ancient Greek word. So
I
we
saw
love
that.
that over here. Yeah, I'm so happy that that's like one of the ways that we've united. So thank you so much again for being here. For all of our listeners, do yourselves a favor, connect with Brittni. I'm definitely going to check out the transformation table, and I cannot wait to hear more about the retreats. So if anybody has questions, DM me. I'm happy to connect you with Brittni. And thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you, Caitlin. This was wonderful.